Unveiling the truth behind courts and the IRS, private corporations and debt collectors. The courts, particularly those in the United States, operate under a framework that many are unaware of. In reality, they are not public institutions seeking justice, but privately owned trading companies. The United States District Courts, for example, are owned by private entities that operate under the authority of the U.S. Attorney's executive offices in Washington, D.C., which is itself a private corporation. These courts, referred to as Article I courts, are classified as legislative tribunals, and they are engaged in commercial activity rather than the dispensing of justice. These courts are not only privately owned but are also registered with the Department of Defense, DoD, under the Data Universal Numbering System, DUNS. The DUNS number allows these courts to function as entities in international trade. As private corporations, they have bank accounts and agreements with major financial institutions such as the Federal Reserve, where they deposit and securitize the documents that are filed with them, including civil and criminal cases. These courts function as debt collectors for the Federal Reserve, often funneling funds into escrow accounts under agreements that benefit the banks and investors rather than the American public. Courts as debt collectors, the role of attorneys and securitization. When it comes to the legal system, attorneys are not acting as impartial representatives of justice. Instead, they are functioning as private debt collectors. Under the Debt Collection Practices Act, FDPA, public debt collectors are required to register with the government, obtain a license, and carry a bond to collect debts legally. However, attorneys working within the court system are exempted from some of these regulations, allowing them to engage in debt collection without proper registration. These attorneys are involved in collecting money under the guise of legal proceedings, but the entire system is based on the collection and securitization of debts. Documents filed in court are often turned into negotiable instruments and sold as distressed debt to hedge funds and investors worldwide. The debts collected are bundled into securities, which are then sold globally, generating profit for large financial institutions, while the individuals involved in the cases often remain unaware of the financial transactions taking place behind the scenes. The securitization of debt, from mortgage loans to global investments. One of the most significant aspects of this system is the securitization of debts, particularly mortgage loans. The notes associated with these loans, which typically have a maturity of more than 9 months, are considered securities by legal definition. When individuals sign and endorse these notes, they are entering into an investment contract, unknowingly providing collateral in the form of a security. The loan is then securitized, and the associated debt is no longer backed by the original borrower's promise to repay. Once these mortgage-backed securities are created, they are pooled and sold as bonds. Companies like PIMCO and other financial entities take these securities, bundle them, and trade them on the global market. The courts play a crucial role in this system by facilitating the collection of debts, creating legal frameworks for debtors and creditors, and ensuring that these securities remain tradable. However, the true ownership of the property, as well as the repayment obligation, often becomes unclear as these securities change hands. Stopping the system, legal remedies and accountability. There are ways to challenge this system, though they require an understanding of the legal processes involved. One such method is through the use of a letter rogatory, a letter of instruction under the Hague Convention. This legal process allows individuals to make a formal request to the courts to take specific actions, such as halting the collection of debts or challenging the validity of the securitization of a loan. By invoking this process, individuals can hold the courts and those involved in the debt collection process accountable for their actions, ultimately putting an end to the exploitation of the system. Ultimately, the key to understanding and addressing these issues lies in recognizing the commercial nature of the legal system and how it operates in tandem with financial institutions to maintain a cycle of debt. The courts, while ostensibly serving the public interest, are primarily serving the interests of private corporations and foreign entities. Individuals who wish to challenge this system must be equipped with the knowledge of how these institutions work and how they can use legal processes to assert their rights and challenge the ongoing exploitation of the American people.